Hey everybody, in this video I'm talking with Luke about some of the more nuanced aspects of dribbling, including making sure those return passes happen. This video is an excerpt from the director's commentary on the How to Dribble video that Luke produced. The full video is basically a half-hour conversation between us about that popular How to Dribble video. If you'd like to see it in full, then it's on the lowest tier of our Patreon and linked in the description. I hope you enjoy the video and I'll see you again soon.
Then you notice after this throw, the defense was very committed to this near side of the field, and then they get scored on.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah, and I spoke to Tyler, and he was a little bit peeved that this guy here looks away from him, because he basically stops the dribble. And anyone that is like the first dribbler in their team will empathize with this. You know, he's been getting every other, and he's free for another one. And if he got it, he'd be able to throw the scoring pass for sure.
Yeah.
But then this guy turns away, and it's like, that guy doesn't know anything about what's going on downfield. So it's basically give up the dribble for like a 50-50.
Yeah, it's complete luck whether or not someone's free at this point. I mean, I did this at training yesterday. We were playing against zone. I like did a little give and go with someone. Was very like vocal about calling for the disc before they even caught it. It's like, no, don't turn around. Keep looking at me. And then I caught it again and could see that there were like two players in the end zone, but only one of them was free.
Yeah.
But I already knew that because I knew that before I caught the disc because I was facing downfield.
Yeah. I find after throwing, if I go and I'm free, then before the person catches it, I have to not just be gesticulating, but also vocalizing. And then it's fairly high chance that they won't turtle it downfield.
I mean, when I talk about bounce passes in this video, I think something I could have spoken more about was the communication aspect of making sure that the player who's about to catch the disc knows where you are and that you want it back. Ideally, they just look back at the previous thrower anyway. Good hex movement decision tree principles, but in practice, that doesn't always happen. So yeah, make sure you're calling for the disc before they've even caught it. Ideally, if you know that you're free and can get it back.
Yeah, and I think we've got to be careful not to underestimate how counterintuitive it is to look back at the previous throw and throw it to them. It shouldn't be that much, right? But it kind of is. Like I was at Beach Masters trials this weekend, and we did in the warm up. We were just jogging around in the end zone with discs, and it was just like, okay, yeah, let's get a bunch of discs in. Everyone just pass the disc between each other, you know, not in pairs or anything. And so you're just jogging around, passing and everything, and nobody once looked for the return, right? Or like, you know, if I gesticulated, then it wasn't going. It's like that. Yeah, it's just like hard.
You have to pass to someone else. Yeah. It's like there's a rule where every time you've touched the disc, you've got to sit out for the rest of the point, or at least until somebody else has touched it. Yeah, they
seem to naturally do that, you know. And it was like, oh, this is weird. Like, like surely, like even in this like environment where there's no direction of play, surely like, they're already looking in this direction. And their only aim is to get the disc out of their hands. So.
Yeah, it's very odd that I think a lot of players just assume that the previous thrower isn't free, not because they aren't. Because if you watch footage of like, you know, US nationals or Euros or like any high level tournament, teams that aren't doing throw and go stuff, it's amazing how often the previous thrower is just completely open. Like the defender moves away or just falls asleep for a bit or whatever, but because that doesn't get punished, it doesn't matter. It's like the previous throwers who aren't doing throw and go moves just assume they're not going to be free because their defender's right next to them, and then the defender assumes that they're not going to get burnt on a throw and go move, and neither of these things are necessarily true if you just like try.
Although and then you have like USA Japan, right, where Japan's D was after USA would throw it, they would like flash poach downfield. So they would almost like go like they were defending the throw and go. But then obviously USA weren't punishing that because they weren't looking at those players when they were free in the first 2 seconds of the stall.
Yeah, it was really smart from Japan.